Welcome back, everyone, to the Remedify Coaching Program podcast. You know, it's really interesting. We've gotten some fascinating material from all of you lately, and there's this one theme that keeps popping up, and it's something so basic, so fundamental to how we feel and how we function, and that secondary food.
Yes, absolutely. And the sources you've all shared, they really lay a great foundation for understanding this vital piece of well-being.
Totally.
And today we're gonna really dive deep into what secondary food means for you, why it's so important, and offer some really practical insights that you can use right away to make healthier choices in your daily life.
Yeah, and I love that. And I think that's so important because sometimes, when you're navigating the world of health and wellness, it can feel really overwhelming.
Absolutely.
There's so much information out there. And I think, our goal here is to cut through all of that noise and really hone in on this one concept of secondary food and make it clear, make it engaging, and make it really relevant to you. So let's get started. So based on the material that we've all been looking at and talking, what exactly is secondary food?
Well, it's so interesting because a lot of your sources, they start by talking about primary food.
Okay.
And this is really helpful to make that distinction first. So primary food is really all of those elements that nourish you deeply, but that aren't necessarily nutritional. So think about your relationships, your career fulfillment, your sense of purpose, your connection to something bigger than yourself, or even just your level of physical activity.
Right. And I think that really resonates, that feeling of deep satisfaction that you get after spending quality time with the people you love, or the energy that comes from pursuing something you're passionate about. That's not something you eat, but it definitely, contributes to feeling nourished and feeling good.
Exactly. And that's why it's so helpful to define secondary food within that context. So, according to the material you shared, secondary food is simply the food you eat. So, think about it, all the food groups: fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, fats, everything that makes up your daily diet. That's your secondary food.
Got it.
And this is what provides your body with the essential nutrients it needs for energy, for repair, for overall health.
Okay. So essentially, when we're talking about making healthier choices, we're really talking about being more intentional about our secondary food intake,
Exactly.
the tangible nourishment that's fueling our physical bodies.
Absolutely. And the quality of that secondary food, the amount of that secondary food, has a direct impact on how you feel physically.
Right.
It's not just about, filling your stomach. It's about the nutrient density of what you're eating and making sure you're giving your body what it truly needs to thrive.
Absolutely. So we've established that secondary food is the actual food that we eat. It's separate from all of those, vital life elements that we talked about.
Right.
So now let's explore why it's so crucial for us. Your sources highlight a few key roles that secondary food plays. And the first one is meeting our nutritional needs.
Yes, and this is like the bedrock of it all. Secondary food, think of it as your body's primary source for all the raw materials it needs to function properly.
Okay.
And your material breaks this down further into what we call macronutrients and micronutrients.
Got it.
So macronutrients, those are the big ticket items, the things you need in larger quantities. And they include carbohydrates, proteins, and fats.
Okay.
And each one plays such a vital role in your body. So let's start with carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are often your body's preferred source of immediate energy.
Right. It's like the immediate fuel that your car needs to get going.
Exactly.
So you eat carbohydrates, your body breaks them down into glucose, and then your cells can use that glucose for energy.
Exactly. And then you have protein.
Oop.
Protein is essential for building and repairing tissues throughout your entire body.
Wow.
Muscles, hair, nails, all of it.
So if you're physically active or, just going through the daily wear and tear of life, protein is crucial for maintaining those tissues.
Absolutely. And then we have fats, and fats sometimes get a bad rap, but certain types of fats are vital.
I was going to say, because we need fats.
Yes, we do.
Right.
We need fats. They're essential for hormone production and for helping your body absorb certain vitamins. It's just about choosing the right kinds of fats in the right amounts.
Okay, so we've got the macronutrients. Those are the big building blocks. And then what about micronutrients?
So micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals that you need in smaller amounts.
Okay.
But they're still absolutely essential for a huge array of bodily functions. Think of micronutrients as the little helpers that keep all your systems running smoothly.
Oh.
So vitamin D for bone health and immunity,
Right.
iron for carrying oxygen throughout your body,
Okay.
Each micronutrient has a very specific and critical role to play in keeping you healthy.
Like a complex orchestra.
Yes.
And all the micronutrients are the individual instruments, and they need to be in tune for the whole thing to sound right.
I love that analogy. That's a great way to put it. And secondary food is really the source of all those essential players in the orchestra of your health.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. And the next crucial role that your sources highlight is fueling your energy levels.
And this one probably feels pretty obvious to a lot of people listening.
Mhm.
You know, that feeling of hitting that afternoon slump if you haven't eaten anything, or the pep in your step after a really nourishing meal.
Exactly. And food literally is the fuel that powers all of your daily activities. As we mentioned before, carbohydrates, they're your body's primary go-to source for energy.
Right.
And that conversion from carbs to glucose, that's what allows your cells to function and what keeps you going throughout the day.
So whether you're, tackling a challenging project at work or just enjoying a leisurely walk, that energy is coming from the food that you've eaten.
Exactly. And it's important to also remember that proteins and fats contribute to your energy levels as well, although it's often in a more sustained way
Okay.
than the quick energy burst that you might get from carbohydrates.
Interesting.
It's more of a balanced, long-lasting energy system when all the macronutrients are involved.
So it's not just about loading up on carbs for energy.
Right.
It's more of a team effort from all the macronutrients.
Exactly. And the third key role that your sources emphasize is supporting growth and development. And, this is obviously crucial during childhood and adolescence, but it continues to be important as adults too.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we're always constantly, regenerating cells and things like that.
Exactly. While the most rapid growth occurs earlier in life, your body is always in a state of repair and regeneration
Right.
throughout your entire lifespan.
Wow.
And secondary food provides the building blocks for all of that.
That's amazing.
So, protein, as we've discussed, is particularly vital for muscle repair and growth, but it's also crucial for the health and maintenance of all your tissues.
So it's not just about physical growth in the traditional sense.
Right.
It's more about maintaining the integrity of your body
Mm.
and recovering from, our everyday activities.
Exactly. Think about recovering from exercise.
Yeah.
Healing a minor cut.
Uh-huh.
Adequate nutrition and protein in particular play a huge role in that entire repair process.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So secondary food isn't just about providing immediate energy. It's really about supporting your long-term health and development at a cellular level.
Wow. This is really eye-opening, I think. It really highlights how fundamental secondary food is to our existence.
Yeah.
It's not just something we do because we have to. It's directly linked to our ability to function,
Mm-hmm.
to have energy, and to maintain our health over time.
Mhm.
Now, one thing that's particularly helpful in all of this material is the focus on empowering us to make healthier choices.
Yes.
And it's not about restrictive diets.
Right.
It's about, making more informed decisions that support our well-being.
Yeah.
And the first key point here is balancing our macronutrients.
Absolutely. Yeah, and your material emphasizes the importance of consuming carbohydrates, proteins, and fats in proportions that support your individual health needs and your activity level.
Right.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer here, and it can vary from person to person. But the core message is that each macronutrient has an essential role to play.
Right. Carbohydrates for readily available energy,
Yes.
protein for repair growth, and a ton of other functions.
Yes,
And fats for hormone production and nutrient absorption.
that's right.
It's really about finding the right balance that works best for each of us as individuals.
Exactly. And this leads right into the next key point, which is prioritizing whole foods. And I know you've probably heard this concept before, but your sources do a great job of explaining why it's so beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about choosing foods in their most natural and unprocessed state
Yes.
as often as possible. So, think about fruits and vegetables, whole grains like brown rice, oats, and lean sources of protein like fish or beans.
Exactly. These whole foods are incredibly nutrient dense, which means they pack a ton of vitamins and minerals and fiber into each serving. They offer a really wide range of health benefits, and importantly, they tend to be lower in added sugars, unhealthy fats, and artificial ingredients
Right.
that you often find in more processed foods.
So it's like choosing the original version of something over a heavily edited one.
Yes.
You're getting more of the beneficial components and fewer of the things that might not support your health goals.
That's a great way to put it. I love that analogy. And then the final key to making healthier choices that's highlighted in your material is moderating portion sizes.
Okay.
Even with really nutritious foods, consuming too much can have a negative impact on your health.
And I think this is something a lot of people struggle with because it's not always easy to know what an appropriate portion size looks like.
Absolutely. Your material emphasizes being mindful of serving sizes
Okay.
and really tuning into your body's natural hunger and fullness cues. Are you eating because you're truly physically hungry? Or is it, are you being driven by, habit or stress?
Right. That's such a good question to ask yourself before, reaching for more food.
And there are some practical strategies that can help with portion control.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about that.
So, using smaller plates can be helpful because it kind of creates that visual cue of a full plate with a smaller amount of food.
Right.
Paying attention to the recommended serving sizes on food labels can also be really helpful, especially when you're first becoming more aware of this. And just generally being more conscious of calorie-dense foods.
Uh-huh.
So those foods that pack a lot of calories into a small volume, that can make a big difference in managing your overall intake.
So it's really about cultivating that awareness
Yeah.
and making those conscious choices about not just what we're eating, but also how much we're consuming
Exactly.
to really nourish our bodies effectively.
Yes. It all comes back to developing a healthy and sustainable relationship with food
Love it.
that supports your overall well-being.
This has been such a valuable exploration of from the material you've all shared.
Right.
Secondary food is absolutely fundamental for meeting our nutritional needs,
Hmm.
for providing the energy that we need to get through our days, and for supporting our body's ongoing processes of growth and repair.
Yes. And by making more informed and conscious choices about the quality and the quantity of the secondary food you eat, you can directly and positively impact your overall health and vitality.
Totally.
It really puts you in the driver's seat when it comes to your well-being.
Right. Prioritizing whole unprocessed foods and being mindful of our portion sizes are, those are actionable steps that we can start incorporating today.
Absolutely.
And understanding how to balance those macronutrients, carbohydrates, protein, and fats can really help optimize our energy levels and support those, essential bodily functions.
That's right. It's about building a sustainable and nourishing way of eating that supports your long-term health goals. And for more resources to continue exploring your journey towards optimal health, please visit www.pnmoneymaking.com, www.kkhealthconsulting.com, and www.kk2020.store.
Such great resources.
Yeah.
And we hope this deep dive into secondary food has provided you with valuable insights and practical takeaways that you can apply in your own life.
Think about this, the simple act of nourishing your body with the right food.
Yes.
It's a cornerstone of your overall well-being. It's a fundamental act of self-care.
I love that. Thank you all so much for listening to the Remedify Coaching Program podcast.